You're not stuck. You're just waiting, and that's the most dangerous place you can be. Think about an airport departures lounge. You've been there. Everyone has. The plastic seats, the overhead screens, the particular kind of limbo where you're not home anymore but you haven't arrived anywhere yet. You're just between. Now imagine spending your whole life there. Not dramatically, not obviously, just quietly sitting, watching the boards, waiting for conditions to be right, waiting for the gate to open, waiting for your name to be called, waiting for the moment when everything lines up and you finally feel ready to go. That's what most of us are doing. Not with airports, with our actual lives. We're waiting to start the business until we have more money, waiting to say what we feel until it feels safer, waiting to make the change until the timing is better, waiting to begin until we feel ready. And here's what nobody tells you. The gate never opens on its own, the board never updates, ready never just arrives. You can wait your whole life in that lounge, and some people do. There's a word for what we're doing when we wait for the right moment. We call it being responsible, being strategic, being realistic, being patient. But there's a more honest word for it. Deferral. We defer the thing we actually want to do, we push it forward. Not forever, just until things are better, until we know more, until we feel more confident, until the kids are older, until we have more saved, until work calms down, until we find the time. And every single one of those reasons feels completely legitimate in the moment. Because they are legitimate. The money question is real. The timing question is real. The confidence question is real. But here's what we're not asking: will it ever not be real? Will there ever be a moment when money is completely sorted, timing is genuinely perfect, confidence is fully there, and nothing else is competing for your attention? Sit with that question for a second. Because if the answer is no, and for most of us the honest answer is no, then we're not waiting for the right moment. We're just waiting. This isn't weakness. This isn't laziness. This is actually something the brain does on purpose. Your brain is wired to protect you. That's its primary job. Not to make you happy, not to help you grow, to keep you alive and safe and out of danger. And to your brain, the unknown is danger. Starting the business is unknown. Saying the thing you feel is unknown. Making the change, taking the leap, beginning something new. All unknown. And unknown means risk. And risk means the brain pulls the brake. It doesn't do this loudly. It doesn't say I'm scared so I'm stopping you. It does it quietly, rationally, with very good reasons. It says you're not ready yet. It says wait until you know more. It says the timing isn't right. It says what if you fail? And we listen. Because it sounds like wisdom. It sounds like caution. It sounds like the responsible voice in the room. But it's not wisdom, it's protection. And there's a difference. Wisdom asks, what's the smartest way to move forward? Protection asks, how do we avoid moving at all? Here's what we rarely talk about. The cost of not going. We think about the cost of trying and failing. We think about it a lot. We imagine the embarrassment, the loss, the judgment, the wasted time. We play it out in vivid detail. But we almost never calculate the cost of staying. What does another year in the departures lounge actually cost you? Not in money, in life. Another year of talking about the thing instead of doing it. Another year of watching other people begin while you wait. Another year of that low-level hum of dissatisfaction that comes from knowing you're not living the life you actually want. Another year of your potential sitting in a box in a back room, waiting for conditions that may never come. That's not nothing. That's enormous. And it compounds. 1 year of waiting becomes 2. 2 becomes 5. 5 becomes a chapter of your life that passed while you were getting ready to live it. I want you to think about someone you know who has been meaning to do something for years. Start the thing, make the change, have the conversation, begin. They're still waiting, aren't they? Now ask yourself honestly, are you that person to someone else? Let me tell you something about readiness. Nobody who has ever done anything meaningful felt ready first. Not the person who started the company, not the person who had the hard conversation, not the person who made the move, took the job, said, I love you first, walked away from what wasn't working, started over at 40, began again after losing everything. None of them felt ready. They just went anyway. Ready is not a feeling that arrives before action. Ready is a feeling that follows it. You don't get ready and then begin. You begin and then you get ready. The preparation happens inside the doing, not before it. The confidence comes from the attempt, not from waiting until you have enough of it. Think about learning to swim. Nobody felt ready to put their face in the water. Nobody felt ready to let go of the wall. You did it terrified, and then you did it less terrified, and then one day you just swam. The water didn't change. You changed, but only because you got in. The right moment works the same way. It doesn't exist before you step into it. It becomes right because you stepped in. Here's the part that takes some honesty. When we wait for the right moment, we tell ourselves we're being careful, thoughtful, smart. But a lot of the time, what we're actually protecting is something much more fragile. We're protecting the dream. As long as you haven't tried, the dream is still perfect. The business could still be everything you imagined. The relationship could still be everything you hoped. The creative work could still be exactly what you pictured. The life you want is still fully intact, in your head, because you haven't tested it against reality yet. The moment you begin, you introduce the possibility of imperfection, of failure, of the thing being harder than you thought or different than you imagined. And some part of us would rather keep the dream pristine than risk finding out it's complicated. But here's the thing about an untested dream, and it's not actually a dream, it's a fantasy. A beautiful, comfortable, completely safe fantasy that costs you everything while feeling like it costs you nothing. Because you're not living it, you're just thinking about living it. And thinking about a life is not the same as having one. We are very good at the stories. I'm just waiting for the right time. I'm still figuring it out. I need to do more research. I'm almost ready. I just need a little more time. These stories are so familiar they feel like truth. We've told them so many times we've stopped hearing them as stories at all. They've become the wallpaper of our inner life. But what if you held each one up to the light? I'm waiting for the right time. When specifically? What would the right time look like? How would you know it when you saw it? And if it arrived tomorrow, would you actually go? I need to do more research. How much research? How much do you already know? Is there a number of articles, a number of books, a number of courses after which you'd feel ready? And if there is, have you done them? I'm almost ready. Almost is doing a lot of work in that sentence. What's the gap between almost and actually? And what would it take to close it? These aren't cruel questions. They're honest ones. And most of us have never actually asked them. Because the story works best when you don't look at it too closely. Here's what I want to offer instead of waiting. Not a leap, not a dramatic overhaul, not quit your job on Monday and bet everything on a dream. Just a smaller door. Every big thing you're waiting to begin has a version of itself you could start today. A smaller, more immediate, less perfect version that gets you through the door and into the doing. You want to write? Write one paragraph today, not a book, not a chapter, one paragraph. Want to start a business? Talk to one person today who has done something similar. Not launch, not invest. One conversation. Want to change careers? Spend 1 hour this week learning something about the field you actually want to be in. Not a course, not a certification. 1 hour. Want to have the conversation you've been avoiding? Write down what you actually want to say. Not to them, just to yourself. Just so you know what's in there. These feel too small to matter. I know. That's exactly why they work. Because the reason we don't start is never really that the thing is too big. It's that we keep trying to begin at the level of finished. We try to skip from not started to fully formed, from zero to ready, from here to there without any of the middle. And the middle is where living actually happens. There's research on regret, real research, and it tells us something important. When people look back on their lives, the things they regret most are not the things they tried and failed at. They're the things they never tried. The attempt that didn't work out carries disappointment. That's real. But it fades. Because you have the experience, the knowledge, the proof that you showed up. You have the story of someone who went. The thing you never tried carries something different, heavier. The permanent question of what might have been. The not knowing. The life that stayed unlived because the moment never felt quite right. That question doesn't fade the same way. It sits. It follows you. And later in life, when the options have narrowed and the energy has changed and the window is closed, it becomes the loudest voice in the room. I'm not saying this to frighten you. I'm saying it because the math matters. The cost of trying and failing is temporary. The cost of never trying is permanent. And we almost always get this backwards. I want to ask you something. What are you waiting for permission to do? Not from the world, not from circumstances, from yourself. Because I think a lot of us are standing at the edge of something we genuinely want. And we're waiting for some internal signal that says, now, you're ready, it's safe, go. And that signal's very quiet, or it doesn't come at all, and so we wait. Here's what I want you to hear. The signal isn't coming first. It comes after. It comes when you're already in motion, already uncomfortable, already doing the thing you were afraid to start. You don't get cleared for takeoff and then feel ready to fly. You take off and find out you can fly. The permission you're waiting for is not something anyone can give you. Not a sign, not a circumstance, not the right amount of money or time or confidence. It's a decision, a quiet, private, slightly terrifying decision that you make not because everything is right, but because waiting any longer costs more than going. There is no perfect moment. There is only this one. Imperfect, complicated, inconvenient, not quite right in a dozen different ways, and also the only one you actually have. The departures lounge is comfortable. It has seats and screens and the feeling of almost going, and you can stay there as long as you want. Nobody is going to make you leave. But the planes are boarding. They board every day, and every day you stay in the lounge is a day you don't find out where you could have gone. You already know what you want to do. You've known for a while now. The moment isn't going to get more perfect. The conditions aren't going to get more right. The fear isn't going to disappear before you begin. But here's what's true. The person on the other side of beginning, the one who went anyway, who started imperfectly, who got in the water terrified and figured out how to swim, that person is waiting for you. They've been waiting for a while. Stop preparing to live. Go.